These words hit harder when you whisper them to yourself, don't they? Because deep down, you always know when your silence is doing the work your voice never could. It begins the moment everything goes quiet, not around you, but inside you. A calm you didn't ask for, a distance you didn't plan, a clarity that arrives like a blade, soft but impossibly sharp. You don't announce the shift, you don't warn them, you don't prepare them. You simply stop responding to the chaos they once mistook for connection. And that silence isn't empty, it's full of every truth you were too patient to admit, full of every emotion you learned to hold without breaking, full of every reality you finally stopped running from. People underestimate silence because they've never felt its weight. But when you choose silence from a place of strength, it becomes a force that cracks the ego of anyone who mistreated your presence. Today on Echoes of Stoicism, guided by the insight of Coach Sadia Khan, we're breaking down the 7 psychological signs your silence is shaking someone's ego more than confrontation ever could. Let's begin. Sign 1. They suddenly try to regain control. The moment you stop reacting, something shifts. The person who once dismissed you, ignored you, or treated you casually suddenly wants your attention again. But listen closely. They're not coming back out of love. They're coming back out of loss of control. Your silence removes their power, and their ego cannot tolerate losing control over the one place they felt dominant, your reactions. Sign 2. They start monitoring you quietly. When you stop giving them emotional access, they start watching you from a distance. They check your online status. They view your stories. They ask mutual friends about you. They study your movements, your habits, your mood, all without saying a word. Why? Because silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty destroys ego. Sign 3. They try to provoke a response. When the ego feels threatened, it doesn't stay calm, it reacts. They may poke you with sarcasm, try to trigger you, bring up old memories, or even pretend they've moved on. But remember, if someone has truly moved on, they don't need to announce it. These provocations are nothing but the ego screaming, "Please break your silence so I can feel important again." Sign 4. They begin imitating your emotional detachment. At first, they try to impress you, then they try to provoke you. When nothing works, they attempt to copy you. They pretend to be unbothered. They mimic your emotional distance. They act like they've mastered the same calm you built through pain. But there's a difference. Your calm was earned. Theirs is performed. And deep inside, they know it. Nothing crushes the ego more than failing to mirror the strength of the person they underestimated. Sign 5. They replay the last moments with you. In silence, your silence becomes a mirror. Every mistake they made reflects back at them. The nights you stayed up waiting, the times you forgave too quickly, the moments you loved them deeper than they ever admitted. They remember everything now, not because they value you, but because they finally realize what they lost control over. Regret thrives in silence, and your silence is feeding it. Sign 6. They start changing, but for the wrong reasons. This is where ego gets tricky. They may suddenly become nicer, more understanding, more aware, but not out of growth, out of fear. They change not to become better, but to win you back emotionally, to restore the balance where they felt superior, to rebuild the system where you needed them more than they needed you. This is not transformation, it's manipulation, dressed as improvement. Sign 7. They feel something they never expected, your absence. This is the final, most painful ego break, when your silence becomes louder than every word they ignored, when your absence becomes heavier than your presence ever was, when the person who once felt bigger suddenly feels small without your energy feeding their ego. And here lies the truth. People don't feel your absence when you leave. They feel it when you stop giving your attention, your empathy, your heart, your forgiveness, your softness, your availability. When these disappear, that's when they feel the collapse of their ego, not because they miss you, but because they miss the version of themselves that existed around you. But here's the part you must remember. Your silence was never revenge. It was self-respect. You didn't kill their ego. You simply stopped feeding it. This journey you're on, this awakening, this inner shift, this reclamation of power is not about them. It's about you, your peace, your clarity, your worth, your healing, your evolution. And if you've made it this far into the video, you already know this transformation is real. Echoes of Stoicism. Outro. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you never miss another chapter of your growth with Echoes of Stoicism and the guidance of Coach Sadia Khan. If you'd like to support the work we do, you can tap Super Thanks. Every contribution strengthens the voice of this movement and helps us create deeper, more powerful content for you. Share this video with someone who needs it. And remember, silence is not weakness. Silence is mastery. Silence is the moment you finally return to yourself. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and keep rising.